Northumberland is the nearest thing to a wilderness you'll find in England. It's a place where people don't seem to have had much to do with the look of the land. But over the centuries, even the remote hills of Northumberland have been changed by people who cut down trees, grew crops, or kept sheep. Hundreds of years ago, the north of Britain was wild and rugged. People lived closer to nature. Wild animals were an important part of the countryside. People hunted them for food or for fun, or tried to stop them from taking their own food. In such a small place as Britain, it's not surprising that many wild animals became rare or even extinct. They were treated like outlaws. Many of Britain's wildlife outlaws have become part of country traditions. The fox is the best known, a survivor, respected but hated by the farmers. The fox earth often has chicken feathers littering the ground around it. As evening falls on the Northumberland hills, farmers still have to look to their livelihood, to lock up their hens, and try to outwit old Todd the Hunter. And the wily fox has sometimes paid a price. For centuries, people have met to hunt the fox, to sing about his cunning and celebrate his death. And even if we never actually see a fox, we know he's never far away. Todd is as much a part of the countryside as the inns and the lonely farms that carry his name. A more down-to-earth animal is the badger, usually called brock in place names. The badger sleeps deep underground, and digging and baiting was once a popular country sport. It's now illegal, but it still goes on. Badgers have a special liking for woodland, following traditional paths and trackways established over centuries. Their homes or setts are fortresses of earth, full of tunnels and chambers. The badger's day starts at dusk. Brock, one of the most harmless of wild animals, is still treated as an outlaw. Even so, badgers are as common as ever in Northumberland, coming and going at night and keeping themselves to themselves. The countryside has changed around the badger. It does its best to keep to the old ways, and it'll ignore fences and roads. But in the same countryside, many animals have not fared so well. Otters aren't as common as their place name suggests. They're seen even less often than our badgers. Once they were hunted with special hounds, and they've always been shy. Over the past 20 or 30 years, water pollution and the tidying up of riverbanks where otters would have made their homes have changed most of England's waterways into barren places. And it's only along a few rivers like the Tyne and the Tweed that otter tracks can still be found, always leading back to the safety of the river. And when water bailiffs and anglers thought their trout were being poached, there was an obvious culprit, and his head became another prize. In old churchwardens' records, otters were one of the animals for which a reward was paid. So were wildcats, pine martins and polecats, once known as fumarts or fowl martins. The otters survived the bounty hunting, but the others didn't. A name on a map is all that's left of the fumart in Northumberland. In 1863, the polecat was plentiful here, but by the turn of the century, there were none left. Perhaps Fumart now, a silent and lonely sweep of moorland east of the Cheviots, was where the last of these chicken thieves met his end. polecats were pests. These days, mink have taken the polecat's place in the farmer's bad books. The fumart has been quite forgotten. When the polecat was still a villain around the farmhouse, some wild animals were already almost legends. This place, overlooking Reedsdale in the north of the national park and close to the Scottish border, is called Catclough, named after the wildcats that once lived here. Over most of Britain, the wildcat wasn't tolerated by landowners who wanted to raise sheep or shoot grouse. Gamekeepers, who might have been told not to kill foxes, which could be hunted, were encouraged to get rid of wildcats, which could not. Only in the Scottish Highlands did the cat survive, and in recent years less keepering has allowed it to expand southwards again, towards the borders. One day the cats may be back at Catclough. But some animals will never return. They were branded as killers, murderers. Shadows in the night. Children's nightmares. Wolves were the ultimate outlaws. Wolves were feared too much to be respected, and they were exterminated so long ago that only hints of them remain. The landscape of the national park is special, and wildlife lost from our more comfortable countryside still survives in the vastness of the place. Sometimes whole landforms or features, like Reevely Fox Covert near Ingram, survive because of their links with wild animals. And there's certainly a chance of finding more here than just a name on a road sign. And even if we only see them as flickering lines in our imagination, animal outlaws are part of the story of the countryside. And as we shape the countryside, we leave tracks and traces of our own.